everyone, my name is Fox Blockhead and we are back again after a 1 week absence or a 1 race absence to have a look at the 2019 Russian Formula 1 Grand Prix from a fantasy perspective. That's it, that's me, I am Fox Blockhead, welcome to the video. Now Russia was pretty exciting for perhaps the wrong reasons. Ferrari arguing with each other, Vettel pulling over, virtual safety car handing Hamilton the win and handing him the fantasy win as well, giving him 50 points there for the victory. Leclerc with 45 takes out second place this week, and Bottas with 42 second in the race, but Leclerc qualified first on pole position there. The top team was Mercedes. Hamilton and Bottas both qualified top 4, I think, both finished 1-2, so they're going to get that, and Hamilton as well with the +5 for the fastest lap, which gives him the victory. If Leclerc got the fastest lap though, that would have been switched around. Anyway, on to the driver results. Look like this for Russia. Hamilton taking out the win, like I said. Leclerc, Bottas with pretty good value for, well, points for your dollar, I guess you could say. Perez up there as well. Sainz with the best value pick for the weekend, 2.33 points per million for him. The McLaren driver is doing quite well recently. If you look at the bottom there, we've got Russell, Kubica, both the Williams picking up minuses. Poor fellas. Down the bottom, Ricciardo also with a DNF and a -11 points haul. Vettel, by virtue of his strong qualifying performance, still got a point, but didn't finish the race. Constructors' fantasy results look like this. Mercedes taking out the top, followed by Red Bull Racing and Ferrari. I'll have a look at why the points are the way they are in just a couple of slides' time. McLaren with the best value pick of the weekend. Him and Sainz both value picks. So let's have a look at the dream team for this weekend. Leclerc, Bottas, Albon with the turbos, Perez, Sainz and Red Bull would have netted you 238 points for a $99.9 million budget out of your $100 million. So if you think you can do better than this, if your team got better than this, let me know. Who was your team in the comments? Prove me wrong. This is from my calculations with Red Bull 65, but the slightly lower value than Mercedes. Caught up in the 80s where it was McLaren Mercedes. The dud team now, the bottom 5 finishers and the bottom team would have got you -56 for 66.3 million. I think that's by virtue of Vettel's almost 30 million price tag, not getting him the points. So here are your dream studs. Bottas with 11 races out of 16 where he's been in the dream team. Kvyat, Leclerc with 7, Hamilton, Stroll, Sainz with 5, Mercedes 9 out of 16 races where they have been the dream team. Been in the dream team for the team. And the duds, Grosjean with 11, Kubica with 10, Giovinazzi, Magnussen with 7, Ricciardo with 6, and Kvyat 6 duds, 7 studs. He is one very hot and very cold. 13 races he's been in, one or the other out of 16. So, yes. And the teams to avoid, Haas and Alpha. Drivers' bonus chance in qualifying in Russia. Vettel and Leclerc had 4 out of 4 races where they both were up there. Vettel qualified in Q3. Leclerc got pole, qualified in Q3, both with a bonus 5 points to their total. Bottas and Leclerc both had bonus chances for the race, and we know Bottas ended up there. Leclerc ended up there, both with a +10, so Leclerc +15 for this particular race. That bumped him up the standings for sure. Constructors' bonus chance in Russia. We didn't have any teams that were up for a bonus chance. But we did have Red Bull. If both drivers finish top 10, both finish in the points, 3 races in a row, they get a bonus. So Italy and Singapore and Russia, both Verstappen and Albon finishing in the top 10. Bonus 10 to Red Bull, which gave them the dream team status for this weekend. Drivers' bonus chance. Looking ahead to Japan and onwards, we have Hülkenberg and Ricciardo, and we have Sainz. Both the Renault drivers have finished Q3 for 4 races in a row now. So Japan, if they can finish Q3, bonus 5 for them. Carlos Sainz, though, he needs to finish Q3 in Japan and then head to Mexico, where he can pick up his bonus 5. And in the race, we have Hülkenberg, Verstappen, and Norris. Hülkenberg's on 4 out of 4, so Japan gives him a bonus 10 points if he finishes in the points again. Doing well for Hülkenberg. Verstappen and Norris, both of them, again, they need to do it in Japan and then look ahead to Mexico for the bonus points. In the constructors' side of things, looking ahead, we have Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren. All 3 of those looking into Japan. If they can get both drivers into Q3, they get a bonus 5 each. And in the race, we have Mercedes and McLaren. Not helping my speech patterns, having all these M's. Mercedes are on 2, potential bonus 10 if they can finish both drivers in the points. McLaren, they are looking ahead to Mexico, finishing both drivers. So McLaren, potential for Japan and then potential for Mexico. But do you want the immediate returns? Up to you. The drivers' standings as it is after Russia. We have Lewis Hamilton on 642, Bottas 130 behind, pushing him for second. Max Verstappen in third place, 30 ahead of Leclerc and Vettel in the 2 Ferraris. Gasly in the Toro Rosso, by virtue of his first half of the season in the other Red Bull vehicle, having a good number of points, but slowing down in collecting those. Albon, he's pushing up with the other Red Bull. Be interesting to see how that all finishes after the end, after Abu Dhabi. The bottom 10 look like this. Plenty of price dips, but also plenty of price gains in the bottom 10. Grosjean, have a look at him, minus 21. Still trying to crack that 0 and stay above 0. The Haas driver, both of them, not a season to remember. Definitely not. But Russell, definitely the value pick out of all of those guys down the bottom. Constructors' standings look like this. Mercedes have cracked the 1,000 after Russia. Then you've got Ferrari 310 points behind. That is crazy. Then another 80 behind we have Red Bull Racing, and then Racing Point ahead of McLaren by 7 points. That race to the best of the rest is going to go right down to the wire, especially since McLaren have the value advantage on Racing Point at the moment. Only 8 million to get the McLaren team into your fantasy team. The driver battles now, the bottom 5 teams. We have Magnussen beating Grosjean in qualifying, Grosjean beating Magnussen in the race. You probably don't want to look at Haas though. Raikkonen over Giovinazzi 10 to 6 and then 13 to 3 in the races. Raikkonen is a good pick for that one. Ricciardo 11 to 5 over Hülkenberg in qualifying, with Hülkenberg taking the racing 9 to 7. See how that turns out. We could end up with a pretty close race for the racing title there. Russell, the only person who has out-qualified his teammate, 16-0 at this point in the season, with Japan coming up this weekend. 11 to 5 in the races, and then the Toro Rosso. Remember the driver switch halfway through the season, so only 4 races for those guys. Gasly with 3 to 1, and then 2 to 2. If we have a look at their average style, their most prominent starting qualifying segment that they've made. Does that make sense? Where they've mostly qualified. We have Magnussen and Grosjean, who are regularly getting to Q3 8 times and 7 times out of the 16 races so far. But then you look at Williams, and they've only ever got to Q1. 16 out of 16 races. Ricciardo, 10 out of 16. He's made it into Q3. Gasly, 3 out of 4 times into Q2. So Gasly, if you want a Q2 solid state, dude. Raikkonen 8 times into Q3, Giovinazzi 10 times into Q2, and then their average number of positions gained and lost. So Gasly, that 6.5 is only 4 races long. The Williams, though, regularly moving up the grid. So you get 2 points per position gained. Remember, up to a maximum of 10. Top 5 teams. Norris out qualifying Sainz 9 to 7, but Sainz taking Norris in the races 10-6. Perez over Stroll in qualifying, and that one qualifying result, I think he didn't qualify. that particular race. But 10-6 in the races. Over to Ferrari, Leclerc 10-6, and Vettel in the races 9-7. That's going to be tight by the end of the season as well. Verstappen over Albon 3-1, and in the races 2-2. Pretty sure the Albon's beaten Verstappen though. Verstappen hasn't finished, so still the stronger driver over the Red Bulls out of those two guys. And then Hamilton over Bottas 11-5 and 12-4 in the races. Where have they started? Mostly in Q3. The Racing Points, Q2, Q1, but everyone else regularly making it to Q3. This is just picking up where they have qualified the most out of 16 races so far. Both Mercedes drivers always been in Q3. Average positions gained and lost. You can see Albon's made 14 places per race over the 4 since he's been in Red Bull. Now that's mostly because he's taken engine penalties or he started from the back of the grid. So he's always going to be making places if he's doing that, and he's been in the dream team because of that as well. But Stroll, look at him. Starting in Q1 but making up 5.5 places per race. Definitely a good racer, not good in the one lap format. Russian Formula 1 Fantasy League placings. Piston Raventi taking out the gold this week with 245 points. That is, I think, just about the dream team right there. 245 points. Well done. Ma del Misteri. I can never say that one. 225 points coming in with the silver. And in the bronze position, the Engine Blockheads. I actually made it in my own league into that top 3, 191 points. But if we have a look at the rest of the league, you can see I only got there by a point. Still sitting in 4th place, only 10 above Mysterious Bright Mystery now. You can see that's how we're looking at the moment, with Diego from Italy still pushing the top. What's that, 70 points above 3rd place. So he is the one to catch. Diego is the one to catch, and these are the results since Baku as well. The league started in Australia, but since Baku, which is when everyone has at least started in the competition. So, follow the signs in Russia. Looked like this. Ricardo and Russell picking up minuses. Not good. 143 points, but I did get the bonuses for Red Bull. The change for Japan is Lando Norris taking the turbo. I'm taking a risk, moving the turbo and getting in Norris, but we'll see how that all pans out for us. And the Engine Blockheads, the 3rd place in our league, looked like this. That was the team, and the change for Japan is, did you see it? Nico Hulkenberg coming in, hopefully picking up all those bonus points this weekend. So we'll see how that all turns out. Japan 2019 Formula 1 Grand Prix, October 11 to 13. Qualifying was meant to be 4 p.m. October 12th, but there's a typhoon bearing down on the coast of Japan, and so they've postponed, they've put off everything. There will be no free practice 3, and qualifying should be 10 a.m. on Sunday the 13th. So get your changes in, make sure that your teams are all set, ready for Japan, and hopefully we can get this video out to you, this one, as soon as possible, but the Japanese Grand Prix, hopefully we can get that one out to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, I hope you are enjoying the Fantasy Formula 1 season, the Formula 1 itself, the races, and the rest. Let me know what you thought. Leave a like, leave a comment. Jump into the Fantasy League. The description will hold all of the information, the league code, where to go, fantasy.formula1.com. Looking forward to seeing the end of this season, just to see how things all shuffle around and make up. But that is all from me, Fox Blockhead. Until next time, I will see you later, alligators.